Hey, everybody. Welcome to The Experience, live with Russ and Scott.
Welcome to The Experience, live with Russ and Scott.
Join us every Wednesday at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. Special thank you to our sponsors of The Experience, live with Russ and Scott, Jim Cohen, State Farm Insurance, 541-753-2500. Call him for all your insurance needs. And for more information on Christine Smith and Aging Better Network, go to agingbetternetwork.com. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to The Experience, live with Russ and Scott. So great to see you this morning. Scott, how are you doing?
I am great. Good morning, Russ. Always great to hang out with you. We were live earlier on Instagram, and missing Shri, though. She was out working on another show. She is a video expert and in great demand, so we're always happy when she can be with us, but happy she's out helping some other folks.
There you go. We had to do it all by ourselves today. We had nobody to make us look good. And so Scott and I had to smile and look as good as we could. But no, we have so much fun on that show. Yeah. And it's always getting ready for this show is what it's all about. And some video tips from Shri. Just a lot of fun. And it's on Instagram only, 6:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time every week. So please join us there. And then you can jump over here on LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube for The Experience, live with Russ and Scott at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we are here every single week, right, Scott?
Yeah, we're here thanks to our sponsors, Jim Coleman. He's just a great guy, State Farm Insurance. And, we coached Pop Warner football together. That's actually how we met.
Wow.
Way back when our boys were little boys and now they're grown men. So known Jim for a long time. And then Christine today on the Aging Better Network, agingbetternetwork.com. Her show at 9 a.m. Pacific time is going to be a special show. She's actually doing a solo show today. Normally she has guests, but she had some special things going on. And so it's going to be a little different today. So people definitely want to tune in and engage with her over on agingbetternetwork.com. And you can just click on the live stream, or you can go see it on LinkedIn or YouTube.
Sounds exciting. Christine's always amazing. Yay! Even Kermie is here ready to be heading over there to see her. So, no, we're so thankful for our sponsors. And, Scott, I'm thankful for you. And every week, being able to get together, and we actually being close enough occasionally get to go to coffee or lunch together and be in real life. And I just appreciate you so much and what a positive influence you are for me. And so thank you for that.
Well, it's just an honor to be your friend and hang out together. We got to hang out with the sponsor of the Experience Backstage right here in my office with the glitter practitioner, Dr. Nupi
Aurora. Yes, she is an amazing person. Came all the way over here to visit us from Manchester, England. And so that was so great. That was so great. So, hey,
I just want to say you've got another international best-selling book you're a member of that's just launched.
Yes, thank you for that. I actually, it's called A Note to My Family. I Am Your Legacy, and it is an amazing collaboration of 21 authors, and we work together. And there's a chapter per author. It became, again, an overnight international bestseller, like my last book, Rattled Awake. And it was just an amazing opportunity to be with some great people. And yeah, it has been number one on Amazon in its category. I think it's family and spirituality is number one on that category. So it's been pretty exciting, and I'm thankful for that. And Scott, you always have a ton of books, and you've got the Independent Planner coming out, right?
Yeah, we've got Freeze in the back here. That's a joint with Veronica Jeans, and Business Networking, a Scientific Method. That's my book, also on Amazon, and just released the Independent Planner. This is the proof version of the hardcover. This is because it's a journal and it's designed to be written in. I wanted to do it in hardcover. You can get the soft cover as well, but it has there's a kind of a philosophy about time management in here. Talks about that, and then you got the calendar and your goal tracker. And both you and I are big on journaling, and so this combines journaling pages, so you can do that right here, all in one book. This is a 4-month undated planner designed specifically for entrepreneurs.
That is so awesome. I'm excited. I got to get a copy and try it. I'm not really good at I do my electronic planner, but I'm going to try your thing this year for sure.
Well, it's this is designed to be a supplement to your digital calendar.
There you go.
But the focus is really on goal tracking and leveraging brain science. And speaking of that, we've got some great guests, and I was a guest on Julian's show where we talked about brain science. So,
well, speaking of brain science and Julian, let's get him in the room here. Here he comes. Morning, Julian.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Good to see you.
Yeah, that's right.
Scott as well. Yes.
And all the ships at sea.
Exactly, all around the world. It's fantastic, isn't it? I love this wonderful world of LinkedIn Live.
Amen. Amen. I'm with you there. Well, Julian, so great to have you here and be able to chat with you again today. Give everybody a little snapshot. Who is Julian and what are you up to?
What am I? I'm an executive leadership coach. So what does that mean? I work with SMEs, small businesses, medium-sized businesses, usually on the problem of they want to grow. They want to grow their business. They come to me and say, Julian, can you help me grow my business? And I help them by building strategies for growth, working with them, facilitating that sort of experience with them. But I also work with people who perhaps feel stuck. They might have the greatest company strategy in the sort of business, but they just feel stuck, just feel unable to get it. And so I help unlock leadership potential and human potential to overcome that and really deliver on that. And this is all sort of based on having a resilient mindset and a resilient sort of organization. So I have a real passion about building resiliency into people and into organizations as well.
Yeah, I love that. I love the whole idea of resiliency. I mean, you need that. And the fact that you have so much potential and ability, opportunity for things in life, but you've got to actually utilize that and move forward and actually take advantage of it. I think a lot of times people get so stuck, like you said, and they don't know where to turn, but you are there to help them out.
Indeed, I am. Absolutely.
Okay. Hey, speaking of amazing people, let's get Donald in the room. Donald Cohen is an amazing live streamer 7 days a week and was able to be on his show. And so here comes Don. Good morning. How's it going, Don?
Everything's great. So happy to be here. Excited to be able to share with your audience and learn all together.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, listen, why don't we start off with who is Don and what are you up to?
Okay, great question. Happy to answer it. I'm Don Cohen. I've been on LinkedIn for a long time, but for about the last year and a half, I've been just focused on live streaming. I've done a show, 600 shows in 601 days. I took a day off to watch my kids play soccer and have really created an outstanding community, not just audience. And now I'm focused on onboarding people to their own shows, using best practices, using my experience, and more importantly, my community. So it's very exciting. It's the Hour of Empower. It's on every day at 11 a.m. Eastern. So with that, it's so great to be with other broadcasters, people who are adopters of live streaming. And what I found out is live streams get 24 times the comments as organic video.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can get better reach, more relevant reach, and I think relevancy is the key element, because people are looking for numbers, and the people who watch the show are the studio audience. What matters is what is the content that comes from this show that goes forward that everybody was responsible for. So a little bit in a nutshell.
Scott, I know you had something to say. Go ahead.
I was just thinking, Don. I was thinking of. I got here at my desk the book by John Lee Dumas, is The Common Path to Uncommon Success. And when he started his podcast, he decided he needed to go every day. And how did you decide to make that commitment? Because that's a significant commitment.
Yeah, it is, but it's a daily commitment. If someone would have said do 100 in a row or 200, life wouldn't allow it, you would think, because it's not doing it. It's having that spot every day to be there to do it. So that relates to travel, relates to appointments. So you really got to integrate it into your everyday, like my exercise and everything else I do. And I'm working probably 6 to 2. And then from 2 to 5 is when I can take care of whatever I need to. But, I was in my older days, I was a retailer and then turned into be a very successful e-tailer and marketplace player. And, with retail, you got to be open all the time.
Right.
You can't tell people I'll be here when I'm here, or it's 7 o'clock tomorrow, it's 3. So I thought to myself, the rule in e-commerce was don't make people think, don't make people work.
Right.
If they know every day, same time, same place. And what's so wonderful is the people are coming for each other, because 90% of the audience shows up every day too. Right. So after like, and trust everybody, you get much better knowledge share, and you get a safer environment. Plus, you only have to share so much every day or take away something to justify that hour, where if it's once in a million, you got to get all you can. And also, it's a one and done for everybody typically.
I love this, making it easy for people. There's actually a gas station that was open, like 6 in the morning till 9 o'clock at night. And they decided to go 24 hours. And they sold a lot more gas, but they sold almost no gas between 9 p.m. and 6 a.m. at night. But people didn't have to think, are they open? Or they just know I can just go there. So a great example of what you've done to just make it easy for people.
Mm-hmm. Well, and plus you make it easy for yourself, because consistency has a way of building the message over time, right? People are so tired of the pitch slap, where as soon as you connect, you got somebody who's going to get you 300 leads a week who just met you. Where I think people want to get away into an island in the sun with their group and go to work. And that's the key, because after a while, it's like, who wants to do some around here, and who wants to do some together?
Right. I think consistency is so important. And Julian, I was thinking about what you were saying about helping people get unstuck and reach their potential. And I think when you have a good foundation and you have a good routine or ritual, like Scott would call it, and you have that consistency in life, it helps you not get in those stuck positions, right?
Yeah, totally. I think for me, I see consistency for myself as like a superpower. And I think whether that's, if you're trying to build, a resilient mindset where you have some, I have a number of practices I do each day. I get into ice cold water every day. I do gratitude every day. I celebrate success. I reflect. And I build those into my daily sort of life. And that's all about consistency, because, it's about creating an environment in your head and your body that when you get knocked by stuff, because stuff happens, doesn't it? Things go wrong. The unexpected happens. Uncertainty is always there. You're not so thrown, because you've got this almost training that you're consistently doing. You're ready to respond, ready to act. And it's a bit like, a marathon runner or anybody who does endurance. They do lots of running, but also they'll do lots of what you call strength and conditioning. strengthening your core, strengthening your muscles. And so when you can do those long sort of runs and stuff. And so I see, doing daily habits consistently creates a strong core to face any of those challenges. And think, and just what Don was saying about that consistency, just got onto my own podcast. I kicked it off live, and I do a weekly show, and I've done that for the last 3.5 years now. I'm not done daily. I don't think daily would work for me, but weekly is fine. But it's that consistency, and people get to know you, get to like you, and get to trust you. And and it's when you jump onto those calls with people off LinkedIn, and they talk to you in a familiar way because they've seen your face, they've seen you, heard your voice, and they've interacted with you, and they've engaged with you, and it almost feels slightly weird because you have this sense that they know you, but you don't really know them yet. And I quite like that. And that's what it's all about, being consistent, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's so critical. We're talking too about connecting and building community, and this whole thing with podcasting, live streaming, and getting yourself out there so people can know, like, and trust you. Donald, I think that is so key. So many people I know have started by either doing what you're doing on video, just consistently getting yourself out there, or just consistently engaging with other people's content. I think it's that connecting with people that really makes a big difference, right?
Yeah, and it all comes down to leverage, right? How much can you get done in how much time, and how relevant is the group that you're working with? And there's many sayings, but repetition makes reputation. Right? You see somebody in something over and over again, and it kind of ties in with other saying is be known before you're needed, right? You can't tell somebody anything that they don't already tell you they need, or you're just spaghetti against a wall. And it's really a relationship-based future orientation versus, hey, I'm here today saying what I am. And the other thing I learned is humility goes a long way. So on my show, I always made the audience first. I even asked the co-host, don't even talk about yourself until it relates to something they've asked for in the comments, because you'll get the same 20 minutes, but why not talk about more things for less time than talk about one thing that's so passionate you drilled a 6 point and everybody's snoring by now. So it's really who's important. And it's the audience that allows you to have this show. And hopefully you're doing it for more than just monetary reasons. There's a ripple effect.
Yeah.
When I started, it was about strategy and tactics. Within a week and a half, everybody's talking PTSD, anxiety, depression. And that's why we switched it to the hour of empower. And then coaches came and therapists. But now it's shifted, because people now have confidence, have belief in what it is, and now they're getting more involved. So it's fun to see whatever you do get beyond what you could have done on your own by tying into that community.
And Donald and Julian, I'd like to get your perspective, your thoughts on this as well, because I actually think that the live stream is less stressful than recorded shows, because when you do a recorded show, you feel like, well, I need to go in and edit and fix these things. But when you do the live, it's organic, and it's just that conversation. What are your thoughts?
Totally. It's interesting. I was on a podcast this morning, and the guy used to normally do this as a live stream. And he said to me at the start, he says, "Oh, I wish it was live, because then I know it's just in one hit and we've done it, and nobody's going to edit it. Nobody's going to tweak it. Unless it goes completely skewy in terms of streaming." But he says, because we recorded on Zoom, and it's like he wanted that pressure of just go for it without the sense of sort of cutting it. And I like live streaming because of that. And I bring my guests on, and you're a guest, Scott, and it created that little edge. Not that there's millions watching it, but a slight edge that this is going out as you speak, as I'm speaking now. This is hitting the sort of all the social medias right now, and I think that's something keeps you on your toes, keeps you resourceful, makes people say things slightly differently, and hopefully not guarded, but in a more insightful way as they dig a little bit deeper. But also for me, it means it minimizes my sort of editing time when I do my sort of editing post production on a podcast as well. But I just love that interaction as well. And, you're getting loads of interaction here, which is great. And then people interacting and that sort of sense, asking questions. And, I don't always go into that because it's not always easy to try and do everything at once because it's quite challenging. There's two of you doing this, so it's a little bit easier. I don't know if you've got anybody in the back room helping you out here as well, but
Yes.
I do. Yes, yeah, I thought yes. So I do love the whole live stream piece.
I think that it's interesting. I've learned over time, Donald, you talked about through your experience, and as Scott and I have done live streaming, but we've also done video podcasting and audio podcasting. What I love about is the impact of being able to take this live stream, then it becomes a video podcast, and then adapt it and it becomes an audio podcast. And then you take snippets out of it and you reuse that content and they become little video snippets on your social media as well. There's so much you could do with that, as well as taking the information from it and even making a blog or a newsletter utilizing that information as well. So I think the possibilities are so much more when you start with the live stream, but that building the audience and that engagement, I think, is so critical.
Yeah, to add to what Julian was saying, the only way I could do this every day for 600 days in a row is if there was no preparation, where when everybody goes live, that's, we come up with a word of the day. So we got a little bit of an anchor, and there's no homework. And once it's in the can, there's no editing. Then that's the problem with organic stuff, is it gets too perfect, right? Because if there's a flaw, if you let it out, it either says you didn't see it or didn't care about it. But as you polish it, it gets too, presumptuous to the audience. And so I think, they say necessity is the mother of invention. I haven't had one person add a keystroke to anything. I mean, I'm doing the shows, I'm moderating, I'm getting the guests, I'm scheduling. But here's what I learned is I'm delegating to all the continuing guests to do their share, promote the video, find the extra guests that they would like to be on, choose the word. And eventually you're getting all the support by the people who have a vested interest in supporting it, because it's their time on the show. And like I mentioned, 15 people have come on, never done a show. In 5 months, they have their own show, and I'll give a shout out to Harvey Tuck, who's in England. He was a guest on my show for 5 months straight, every other Friday and Sunday. Well, he started a franchise show 7-8 weeks ago. He's now the #1 franchise event on LinkedIn, and it's just building because of the chemistry, the format. People feel the vibe, the energy. They don't care about, there's a saying, no one cares what you know until they know how much you care, right? And once you can start showing that, hey, you're important, you're the most important person here, and it's different than anywhere else they've been, like a restaurant or a hotel, they want to come back. So anyways, there's method to the madness.
Yeah. And I love that. That's one of my favorite John Maxwell quotes is, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, because it is all about caring for people. And, like you said, you're on daily and you're engaging and you are showing everybody that you care for them just by being within your community, right? By engaging daily. And Julian, I think that is, again, a key to when, a lot of times people isolate themselves. Scott and I had to talk about this years ago. Isolation, especially like during COVID and all that, breeds problems, and all kinds of challenges and getting stuck, not knowing where to go. But when you build community and connect with people and engage, it does just the opposite, brings people out and gives them opportunity, right?
Oh, no, totally. And I think, I know when I'm, finding it, life difficult or business is difficult, I look forward to going to a networking meeting, and not to network for business, but just to be with a community of people, to be with people who will support me, who are for me, who will encourage me, who will hear my whinges and moans, because that's sometimes you need to do that occasionally, and who will be there for me. And I think that's important. And I know, Scott and I talked about, the whole sort of networking piece is business piece is the small part of it all. It's that community piece, and going into those communities to be, at times when you're doing really well, you can support other people. You can buy people a coffee. You can be a lending ear. You can give some advice. You can just put your arms around somebody. You can hug somebody. Whatever it may be, it is important as well, because there'll be times when you need it. When you just need that little buzz or little encouragement. That, do you know what? I was talking to a lady the other day who's an entrepreneur, and she was struggling with things, and I was struggling with similar things, and that was quite good that she wasn't isolated with that problem. It's a thing that people have when you're an entrepreneur. Things happen like that, and that's good to share, isn't it? And just out of that conversation, we felt both supported and encouraged. And so I think community is good, and obviously through this creates network, this creates insight, introduction to people, and people get to know you. And I think that's really valuable, actually.
We often like to go back and quote Jim Rohn, right? That we're the sum of the 5 people that we spend the most time with. But many years ago, there was a coach that told me, Liz Strauss, and she said, Scott, you need to surround yourself with people who will not let you fail.
That's terrific.
Yeah, I love that. Well, I mean, and again, that's why we have you two on today, because Scott and I keep trying to surround ourselves with amazing people.
That's right.
And it is true. We do handpick everybody we have on our show because we want people that are forward thinkers, that are doing amazing things like you two. And I love that. But I got to tell you, I got to be the responsible host. We are winding up our time. So I want to give you each a moment to give us your gold nugget of what you want people to remember from today's show, and then let everybody know how they can get in touch with you. Julian, we'll start with you.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me on today. It's been great. Great experience, as this experience is all about. I guess for me, I talked about it. Consistency is a superpower, and creating daily habits, daily mantras, whatever you want to call it, the processes that enable you to be resilient, and that could be gratitude, it could be going into ice cold water, through to all sorts of things, mindfulness, yoga, but put something in to build that core of strength that will enable you to sort of do great things within your world and what you do. In terms of getting in touch with me, obviously you can access me through LinkedIn, or you can go to my website, which is julianrobertsconsulting.com. And a little plug for my podcast. It's called Helping Organizations Thrive. I've got over 200 episodes out there, from world record holders, sort of Olympians, Paralympians, CEOs, all sorts of people, and amazing people on there, including Scott was on there as well. It's all live out there. It's going to be live on the podcast. You can find it on iTunes, Spotify. And if you type in Helping Organizations Thrive into Google, I'll come up in your search engine. Thanks a lot.
Awesome. And that information amazingly appeared below you as you were speaking, Julian. So it's all clickable in the comments and the show notes. Donald, you're next. Go for it.
Well, thank you first of all for having me. I really enjoyed it. My show's an hour. I was like, wow, this is fast. But I think what you're doing is incredible, because it's getting the word out, and it's really, we're more the message than the messenger in this case, because it's the live streaming platform that makes it happen. And, it's all on LinkedIn and live streaming, a matter of time investment. Where are you putting it? What are you getting back from it? And fast forward, where is it going to get you? And to your point, it's relevancy, not quantity. It's not those vanity numbers. It's who are you working with? Who can you work with? And who do you plan on working with? And menus and venues like this allow people to get to see, meet, and know people before they even have to connect with them, right? So it's an easier entry, and there's choices. But I think people start to see all of us on the screen and say, what's the difference between them and me? Nothing, except we did it or we went forward. And I think if you look at one little nugget, it's either learning or earning. It's never losing. When I do my show every day, I'm learning. They're polishing me. When you lean into the audience, they give you feedback, and all of a sudden you're being helped. So I think it's a matter of not feeling entitled when you come on, but feel grateful that you have an audience that's interested in hearing you. So I'm going to have all of you on my show again. Russ was on before. I'm going to invite everybody. And my show starts actually in 30 minutes at 11 a.m. On LinkedIn and YouTube. I'd love to have you there. And you can reach me at doncohenconsulting.com or go to my LinkedIn. But I want to applaud Russ and Scott today for putting on a wonderful show. This is the first show for me, and these guys are pros. And by the same token, I'm so excited to have been able to share the stage today with all these gentlemen, especially Julian. So you made the beginning of my day worthwhile. Thank you so much.
What fun, Don! I love your comments. It reminded me of Steve Jobs when he said, "There's no limit to what you can accomplish when you realize this world was built by people who are no smarter than you are."
So true.
Well, guys, thank you so much for being on today. We appreciate you both so much. What a blessing you are, and have an amazing day. We're going to say goodbye to you, but hang tight in the green room. We'll meet you there in just a minute.
Yeah.
Sounds
Thank you, guys.
Cheers. Bye.
Whew, we're big.
What a great show.
Here we are. Yes. Oh my goodness. I mean, Scott, we definitely continue to get amazing people.
Mhm.
And for those of you that have not watched before or are new to the show, go to our YouTube page, which is the experience.video. And on the experience.video, you can see all the amazing content of people that have been on the show before. Or if you missed part of this show, you can watch it again. We also broadcast on LinkedIn and Facebook. And so you can look for it there as well. It's just easier to find it all on YouTube in one spot. And like I always say, who needs to binge Netflix this weekend? You can just binge The Experience Live with Russ and Scott.
That's right. And share it with your friends. It's a free Christmas gift you can hand out early. So
that's right.
Hey, I just put in my comments here. I produce Christine's show at 9 a.m. Here on the Pacific Coast, noon Eastern. Aspects of aging. She's got a special show coming up today, and I want to make sure that people don't miss it. Go to agingbetternetwork.com, or you can find her on LinkedIn. I just put that in the comments as well. Just going to be a lot of fun. I think definitely people want to tune in and engage there.
For sure. I would highly recommend it. It's amazing. And don't forget, we're here every Wednesday, 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for your viewing and listening pleasure. This also converts to audio podcast. You can listen to it in your car or wherever you like to listen. You can go to iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, whatever is your favorite platform. And we thank you so much for being part of our community. We thank you for those who are watching today. Don't forget, you can still share this out and let people know what's going on. And we would love it if you would do that. And I think with that, Scott, we're going to wrap it up.
All right. Well, it's been a fabulous show because we have the most remarkable people on the planet here on The Experience Live with Russ and Scott.
There you go. And until we see you again, everybody, have a great day and a great life and
enjoy the experience.
Thanks for tuning in to The Experience Live with Russ and Scott. If you enjoyed today's show, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or subscribe on YouTube. See you next time.